Marcus, who appeared on the report, is if you practiced yesterday, will he practice today or will he?
Yeah, I would imagine that he's going to be a full participant in practice here in a little bit.
And then does it help when you're going up against a team that you've beaten 4 times in a row as this franchise, coming off a loss? Does that help focus any at all?
No, I mean, I think that it's a short week. Whatever the outcomes were in those previous games, they're not going to have any bearing on the game on Thursday. We know that. We believe that. So it's just a short week that we have to get turned around quick and understand the details and get the game plan in all 3 phases and get ready to go on the road.
What have you seen from a leadership perspective out of your offense? Do you think guys are taking charge the way that they need to?
Sure. I mean, I think that the players voted for captain, and they felt like, deservingly so, that Marcus and Ben were guys that they wanted to represent them, for the coin toss. And again, we pick a captain each week based on guys that I feel like have earned it and deserve it. But then again, we've talked about leadership as not having any sort of restrictions on it, and that if you can help one guy do something or help him do his job better, help him figure out how to navigate his way through the National Football League, that we expect you to try to do that and then do that to 2 guys, 3 guys, or 4 guys.
Talk to Dean about Minshew a little bit. What have you seen from him in just a short playing time, and how you prepare for a guy that just hasn't played a lot?
I think this is a guy that's stepped in at Washington State after Luke finished up a great career there. Was ready for his opportunity. I think he's ready for this opportunity. He wants to be aggressive. He'll scramble around. He's a good athlete. Has quick release. So it'll be a good challenge for him.
You talked a lot yesterday about 3rd down issues. What's the balance between focusing on something and not making it too big a deal, so that when it comes up in the game, guys aren't tightening up?
I mean, I think that you have to make points of emphasis and things that you want to improve on. I'm not sure what the balance is. I'm not sure what the it's not like a panic. I don't think we try to panic. I think we just try to coach. We just try to point out things that can make us better and improve the players' chances of doing their job.
Road teams haven't generally fared well since the league instituted the Thursday night package. What's the biggest challenges to overcome in order to play well on the road on a Thursday?
I think it's important that we continue our preparation. Our preparation will need to lead up all the way until pregame warmups start. Really, because we don't have the opportunity to work our normal, what would be day before the game here at home, and in a short week, those are still critical hours, and that we continue to use the time when we travel to study on the plane, to when we get there, have really good meetings, and then Thursday continue that process. And so this will be something that'll lead us all the way up to pregame warm-up.
Is this practice where you try to hit on everything and you have 2-minute and 3rd down and red zone, or is there some stuff that you cut out and only talk about?
No, we'll hit all the phases. It'll just be in different, probably different days. There'll be a lot of that stuff that'll get covered tomorrow. We try to combine a Wednesday and a Thursday today. We'll try to combine a Thursday and a Friday tomorrow, either from practice or some sort of a walkthrough element tomorrow. But you're trying to hit all the phases that you would normally hit, just probably in a little different atmosphere.
Last year, at the beginning of the season, when Derek was struggling, as been well talked about, he called himself trash, said, "I need to get better." Do you think it's important for players to, when they're underperforming, take ownership in that way and say, "Yeah, I need to do a better job"?
Do I think that it's important that players?
To that degree, using the word trash.
I mean, again, I think it's important that players, coaches, everybody take ownership for their job. I'll try to sum it up that way.
Players on this team, with some wins against Jacksonville the last couple of years, pretty much after every game, would point out that they were the more physical team, that they were tougher. They thought that was important against Jacksonville. Is that even more important in a Thursday night short week game where bodies could be beat up going in?
You know, I think our focus, our attention to detail, our ability to recover in a short period of time and making sure that we're ready to go at 8:20 on Thursday will be, critical. And we always, want to play the game fast and physical. And to do that, you have to have as much as your body back mentally and physically as you possibly can.
Easier to prepare for a division opponent because you know them so well, or is it tougher just because they obviously know you well and hard to find?
I think preparing for anybody in this league is difficult, and I think that they'll have things that they've probably saved for Thursday night, and hopefully we do too, and we're able to everybody's able to handle it on our end. Should be a great environment.
Dean was saying that he thinks the biggest nemesis from his defense so far has just been the tackling and some poor tackling. With something like that, how do you, reaffirm the fundamentals with everyone? These guys obviously know how to tackle. It's just what's the next step in getting them to do it?
I think you have to just believe in, in what we're doing and what they're doing as players, and continue the effort, continue the swarm. Talked about staying on our feet, and I think that's the biggest thing in this league is when you leave your feet, you really give the ball carrier a lot of advantages.
We were talking to Dean about Isaiah Mack and the difference between being an undrafted player and a drafted player really not making that big of a difference when it comes to talent. Can you kind of speak to that?
Speak to Isaiah Mack or about what you guys heard from Dean, or I'm getting confused by all these long questions you guys are asking today.
Just Isaiah Mack being an undrafted player,
Yep.
Is the stigma with being an undrafted player real at all?
I think that there are certain things that they have to do. Everybody that we bring in here, I always try to tell this, I think, from my standpoint as a player and where I've seen it as happen as a coach. Everybody, the 90 guys that we get, they all get opportunities. But then we all realize, obviously, that some guys are going to get more opportunities than others. And so, were you drafted? Where were you drafted? And were you not drafted? Were you somebody that we signed in the offseason? Were you somebody that just got here? The opportunities you're going to get. Now, you may not get as many as the guy that was drafted at that position. So I think that when you're talking about undrafted free agents, they have to be real conscious to take care of every opportunity that they get, whether it's not making any mental mistakes, which would then lead to, hey, there's some trust here that we have with this guy that he gets lined up. Let's see what he can do once he gets lined up. Then does he factor, does he flash, does he show that he can perform at this level? Once he's done that, then you try to find out, hey, where does this guy fit in for us? And they kind of keep climbing up the ladder and checking off certain boxes as it would relate to, his individual situation.
Can having to go through all of that make for a more well-rounded player?
Well, I think it probably makes for, I think well-rounded. I think that everybody's going to have a skill set that's probably their strengths and then things that they need to focus on to improve. But what it can do is there's a mentality and maybe a mindset that they have some grit to them and some mental toughness that they can fight through. And knowing, I would imagine that an undrafted free agent that gets nicked up or has to miss some time would really potentially not have the best chance to make it.
What's the balance like on a short week? How much do you weigh the importance of a guy practicing to be ready to play Thursday, or maybe getting an extra day so he'll be ready to play on Thursday?
Yeah, I think that you kind of, some of those things that you would say, hey, we'd like you to see you practice. That's all based on the individual player each and every week. There's times where we've gone into a game and not had a guy have to practice on Friday, depending on who that player was or is. I'm not sure who you're alluding to in this situation, but there'll be guys that probably will maybe say that they didn't practice today, but that would still be available to play in the game based on a recovery over the next 24 to 48 hours.
To a degree, have you sacrificed Humphries to the greater good where he's helped with chipping in a way that's maybe limited him some as a receiver?
Well, I think everybody has. I think that, you mentioned Hump, but, everybody that we've asked to do it has embraced it. And again, that's what we think is best for the team right now. So certainly, the player that you mentioned by name, Humph, but there's been other players that have done it as well. And certainly we try to put the team first and concentrate on those things that can help us.
Is there a cost-benefit analysis that you run where sometimes quicker stuff where you don't chip, get the ball out of the hand, get the receiver out quicker is also a favorable circumstance?
I was a phys ed major at Ohio State, so cost-benefit analysis I'm struggling with that one.
Are there times you'd rather not chip, get the receiver out, get the throw out?
Yes, but unfortunately that would not apply on 3rd and 10. And we had talked about yesterday. Teresa, you remember how many of our third downs were 3rd and 10 plus?
13.
Thank you. Okay, so at least somebody's paying attention. But if we can get to those situations where we're staying consistent on 1st and 2nd down and we're staying efficient, then you have the opportunity to, get 5 guys out, get guys out quicker because you don't need as much yardage. But, if it's 3rd and 10 and we throw a 3-yard route, then I'll have to answer questions about why we threw a 3-yard route on 3rd and 10.
Your defense hasn't given up a lot of points, but opening drives the last 2 weeks, you gave up touchdowns. How can you get that fixed?
Just being ready to go. I mean, 3rd down stop early in the game is something that's critical. Those are all those plays that those teams have been working on all week, and I try to tell the players those are the ones we're going to continue to see. You see. They work on all plays all week. They game plan things that they think are going to work, and when they do, they're gonna run them again later on in the game. So it's being conscious of what they're doing and how we think the game's being played, and then also just somebody coming up and making a stop or tipping a ball. That helps us out, early in the game because those are you always want to play from ahead. You want to play with the lead and. When you give up a scoring drive or a touchdown on the first drive, you're certainly not playing with the lead.
Mike, in your time around Marcus, how have you seen him maybe take 1 week, look at what needs to be improved and worked on, and translate that in the next game?
I'm sure there's been numerous. I haven't gone back, Teresa. I couldn't go back and tell you a specific game where, hey, there were things that we worked on, but Marcus realizes, as does everybody else, including me, that. That's part of this business is being able to focus on what we did well and continue it, and then what didn't we like and how do we get it fixed. And the unique situation this week is that happens really quickly. And so all those things that we were able to, all those positive things that we were able to get last week cleaned up on Friday or Saturday, those have to be cleaned up today and tomorrow just because we lose time